keep it classy. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Courtney Kadaris. If you are new here, today I am going to do a whole video about sorority recruitment, what to wear, what not to wear, what to bring, and what to say, what not to say, and then I'll go into depth about just all the different rounds that happened throughout Rush Week. And I was an incoming freshman once. I literally know the feeling of being so stressed out. I think I Googled and watched every single video there was about Rush. And at the time, like, there just like really wasn't like that many great videos out there. I know there's a lot of good ones out there now, but I just wanted to put in my 2 cents about everything, specifically at the University of Arkansas, but I'm also gonna talk from like a general standpoint as well. And I know Arkansas just went fully in person for Rush Week, which is so exciting. I don't know about other schools, obviously, but I will speak for both standpoints of a Zoom rush and a in-person rush, just because there's really not many differences. I mean, like, maybe what to bring is the only different things, like, but I'll get into that. So let's first talk about what to wear. Your school will either give you t-shirts to wear every single day, or they'll let you free dress. So my sister's going to OU in the fall, and I know that they can wear anything they want, like every single day. They might get like, I think open round might be t-shirts, and then everything else is like on your own. How Arkansas does it is every single day you get a t-shirt except for pref night. So if you're just gonna wanna wear like stuff that you would wear to church, maybe stuff that you'd wear to brunch, nothing inappropriate, nothing that you'd wear like going out at night. Just think, so if you don't get t-shirts every day, then think day dresses, casual, cute, daytime dresses, nothing short, nothing tight, nothing too low cut. And if you don't want to wear a dress, maybe cute skirts, like cute little frilly skirts, or maybe white jeans and a cute top. I'm gonna put at the end of this in the description a link of stuff that I would wear if I was going through Rush, whether I had t-shirts or if I didn't have t-shirts. I'm gonna make a whole big graphic with pictures of just stuff that I would consider buying for Rush, because it's easy to talk about, but it's harder to like actually picture and like know what I'm saying if you like don't have a picture. But if you do get t-shirts every single day, then honestly what I would do is go to like Zara, go to Old Navy, go to Target, get a bunch of bottoms, because you don't know what the t-shirts are gonna look like until the night before, which as an incoming freshman, I was literally so stressed about. So I went out and probably got like 15 pairs of bottoms because I was so stressed. And you really just don't need to do that. I mean, what I would do is just go get like maybe a white skirt, maybe like a neutral skirt, maybe a fun skirt, maybe white jeans if you don't already have some, maybe denim jeans. I think that would be cute with the tee. I wouldn't wear denim shorts. I think that's too casual. I'm trying to think. Basically just stuff that you would wear to church or to brunch. Like, that's honestly like the best way I can explain it. But again, I will put a link below in the description of just like type of vibe that you want to wear for Rush. As far as shoes, sandals are okay, platforms are okay, kitten heels are cute, fun sneakers, maybe like, I know Golden Goose are so expensive. There's cheap, fun sneakers that you can also buy. As far as jewelry, so I like to wear jewelry that like shows off my personality, but if you're worried about that, then just wear timeless stuff. I always say you can't go wrong with classy, so in my opinion, like this is kind of classy. Gold earrings, pearl necklace, David Yurman, just like little beaded necklaces. And like, see, this kind of shows off my personality. I would totally wear this in Rush. Like, it really just like go with like what makes you feel good, what makes you feel confident, because that's really all that matters. And if you are worried about it, then just good rule of thumb is just don't wear it. Like, maybe if you're worried it's too big, then just don't wear it. It's really easy to get like fun, trendy jewelry that's like in a budget, that's still good prices, and like looks cute. Okay, so then for pref is different. Pref, you're gonna wear a cocktail dress, maybe one that you would wear to like a wedding, like just a cute dress. I'll insert a picture of what the dress that I wore. Nothing too low cut, like I said, or tight or too short. And I would either wear like kitten heels or just like a short heel, maybe like, you know, like the Steve Madden ones are like, they're like this high. Like nude, white, black, like just like keep it neutral and keep it classy. But you also don't have to wear heels if you don't want to. I just like heels, so it just depends. Like, honestly, like, again, just like whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you confident. Now let's do what to bring. Okay, so at the University of Arkansas, they give you a clear tote bag, but I know at other schools they give you like a Ziploc bag, or they give you something of the sort. And in my bag, this is what I had in mind. So I had oil blotting sheets, because it's hot, you're sweating. You definitely want like either oil blotting sheets or powder. I did both. So oil blotting sheets, powder, lip gloss, chapstick, travel size perfume, maybe deodorant, because like you're literally like all day in the sun sweating, and like it's honestly kind of miserable. I mean, there's rest stops in between your parties, but like it's just hot because you're walking to all the houses, and it's hot. Maybe mint, a hairbrush, a pen, and a notebook. I know at some schools they give you a notebook or like some type of journal to like write how you feel after each party. I just would bring my own just in case, because what if they don't? An umbrella. Okay, so whenever I went through Rush, 2 days, it was pouring, like awful. There was one day I was wearing white jeans walking down the hill to go to my next party. Boys thought it was funny driving by to splash girls like in the puddles in the road. So they would drive by into the puddles and like splash the girls like multiple times. This happened like all day. They just thought it was the funniest thing. And some girls' outfits were really messed up. So not good. But umbrella, because it does rain a lot. I would bring snacks, like, because you're kind of waiting around all day at these rest stops. And some of the rest stops, at least at Arkansas, have snacks, but like some of them don't. So I don't know. Better to be safe than sorry. I would bring like granola bars or something like that. And then I would bring a change of shoes, especially on prep day, because everyone's wearing heels. I would bring like sandals or tennis shoes, something to get you to and from each house. Depending on like what shoes you bring like the rest of the days, I think usually fine to walk around in them. But definitely prep night, if you're gonna wear heels, I would bring a change of shoes. And if you are remote, pretty much everything's the same on that list. Just like have it next to your computer or whatever. But I will say, go out and buy an Ethernet cord if you don't have one, and plug your computer in for recruitment on Zoom, because it's like night and day better connection. Okay, now what to talk about. So think of Rush as just conversations that you're having with your best friend, or conversations that you're having with a new friend that you're meeting. It shouldn't be like an interview. I remember like going into Rush thinking like I had to mention stuff off my resume, and pretty quickly off the bat, like I realized, oh my gosh, no, I don't have to do that. It's just a normal conversation. You just want to find common ground with these girls, like have a connection, bond about something. And usually it's pretty strategic who you are talking to. Like I was on the cheer team. I remember talking to so many girls that were also on the cheer team. So like that's not a coincidence. So find common ground in that, like bond about stuff. Like it should not be taken as an interview. Don't think of it as so structured. Just literally like let it flow. But I will say, this is probably my biggest tip. Have conversation starters in your journal. So like in between parties, I would write conversation starters as I would just think of them. Whenever I moved in freshman year to my dorm room, like before Rush even started, like this was like a couple days before, the room flooded. My roommate and I had to move out all of our stuff and go to a different floor. It was like the most insane thing. Like water was coming up from the floor. And so like, since that was relevant to Arkansas, like I would make sure to like bring that up, and that would be like something funny to talk about, and like the girl would be like, oh my god, no way. And I was like, yeah, like it was the craziest thing. You don't need to have like funny stories, just like relevant stuff, because a lot of times people would be like, oh, what dorm are you living in? And I'd be like, Reed. And then I would go on with that story, and I was like, but actually like this is what just happened, and made the conversation funny. So I don't know, like if you have relevant stuff to talk about, then like totally bring it up. If you've already bonded with girls on your floor, like just think of it as a conversation. You're just trying to bond. And I wouldn't think of it as like, oh, I did student council, I did cheer, I did dance, I did blah, blah, blah. I just wouldn't go into it looking like that. I mean, you're like, obviously you can do that. It's from being in a sorority. We just want to see, like, you can have a conversation, you can talk to us, you can be our friend. Because that's all this is like, can you see yourself like fitting in this sorority? Can I see you being a part of my sorority? That type of thing. Okay, and now what not to talk about. The 3 B's: boys, Bible, and booze. So don't talk about your beliefs. Don't talk about boys. Like, why would you bring up boys? You're literally like going into sorority houses and like meeting these girls. Like, let's just like not do that. And then booze. Don't talk about alcohol. Like, obviously whenever you join the sorority, you can talk about all of these things. It's just all these 3 things. You don't know if you're talking to a girl that's like a huge partier. You don't know if you're talking to a girl that like has never gone to a party. Like, it's just better to not talk about these things, because you don't know where people stand on it. Obviously when you join a sorority, I'm sure your big will be like, oh my gosh, let's go to this frat together. Like, you're gonna party together, and you're gonna meet people's boyfriends. Like, you're gonna do all these things. It's just not the time or place to talk about it at Rush. Also, don't mention mutual friends. I did this at the first house that I ever went to. A girl picked me up from Fort Worth, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know so-and-so, like whenever we sat down. And she was like, yeah, and it was really awkward. And I was like, okay, like maybe like they're not friends, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And after being in a sorority now, like you're literally like not supposed to bring up mutual friends. So like now I know why she was awkward. But you never know how someone feels about someone that you're bringing up. So it's just like better not to bring them up, because who knows what stories they've heard, or like I don't know. We just don't want to go there. Okay, now just a Q&A, just pretty much like what Rush is. So what's a PNM? A PNM is a potential new member, and you're gonna hear that the entire week. Like, you're a PNM and I'm a member. Then next is a Gamma Chi. So a Gamma Chi is like your camp counselor, and they're not always called a Gamma Chi. I know at Arkansas they are, but I think at Auburn they're called like Rogams, or I've heard like Ro Chis, or I don't know. They're different at every school, but Arkansas is Gamma Chis, and they're just camp counselors. These girls are your go-to girls. Like, you're gonna tell them how you feel. You're gonna ask them questions about how Rush works. This girl's pretty much just like your older sister for the week. Usually they're so great, and like you become really close with your Gamma Chi, and you also become close with the girls that are in your Gamma Chi group. So there was like 12 girls in my group, and I'm still friends with like most of them. So just think of these girls as like, it's just like it's like camp for the week. And honestly, Rush feels like camp. Like, I remember everyone saying that week, it feels like we're gonna go home after this, because it really does. Like, your parents dropped you off and you're now going through Rush. It feels like camp, and it just feels like you're gonna get picked up like if your parents come on bid day. But you don't, you just go to school. It's definitely a weird concept that you're not getting picked up to go home after that week. So I don't know, it's just funny because you well realize that. Okay, what's a party? A party is just another word for a round. So like first round, first party. And I know at some schools they're not calling them parties anymore, they're calling them rounds. So it just depends what your school's doing, but party, round, same thing. Now to get into depth about each round. So open party, you go to every house. At Arkansas, they split it up. I think at most schools they split it up into 2 different days. So over those 2 days, you go to every house, and it's exhausting because you spend like, I think it's 45 minutes in each house, and like maybe like a 30-minute break in between each house. But for this round, it's very just surface level. So you're gonna talk about what dorm you're living in, what's your major, where you're from, and did you have friends that came up here with you? Like, did your whole friend group come to the school you're going to, or is it just you don't know anyone? You're just gonna talk about freshman year, and the sorority girl will probably talk about like her freshman year. But like I said earlier, I would have conversation starters in my journal, just so that like, just to avoid the awkward silences in case there is one. I'm sure, like, honestly, there probably won't be, but in case like you're like, oh, I need something quick, like you can just think of like what you wrote down in your journal like 30 minutes prior. Okay, then the next day is philanthropy round. So philanthropy round is just like it sounds, like it's the day that you learn about every sorority's philanthropy. So Arkansas splits it up into 2 different days, and then you'll get there, and at least at Arkansas, you'll watch a video all about the philanthropy. I find this day really easy as a PNM to make conversation, because you literally have a topic to talk about. So some good questions to ask are, what fundraising events do y'all do? What's your favorite one? Or are you hands-on with your philanthropy? Sorority girl will have so much to say about it, so conversation should be fine. And you could even like relate it to like stuff in high school, like if you were involved in high school, if you want to be involved whenever you get into a sorority. And that's a great thing to say if you actually do want to be involved. Girls love to hear that. So yeah, that's philanthropy round. And the next round is Sisterhood Rounds. So this round is definitely my favorite, because you're literally seeing house tours of every sorority that you have back. So at Arkansas, you can only have a max of 5 back, but it's just like, it's so easy to make conversation, because you can talk about if you want to live in a house, you can talk about the decorations and rooms that you get to see. It's just, this day is so fun because you get to actually see a tour of these giant mansions. So I love this day as a PNM. Okay, and then pref round. This was, like, to be honest, this was probably my least favorite round, just because at least at Arkansas, you're not allowed to talk all day. Like, even at the rest stops, you cannot talk. You can write in your journal, you can watch the movies that are playing at the rest stops, but no talking at all. That was just really hard for me because I was really stressed with the 2 houses that I had left, and I wanted to talk to my friends about it, but you just can't. So that's why it's really good to have a journal. You can like write how you feel, make a pros cons list if you need to. But pref round is definitely just the most serious day. It can get emotional because you'll go into houses and talk to these girls that maybe you've been talking to all week, or maybe you're talking to a good family friend at one of the houses that you know. And it just gets emotional because you've had a long, exhausting week. It's about to be over tomorrow, and you're about to be in a sorority. And I don't know, tears always come out. So don't be surprised when you see people crying, because like almost everyone cries. It's kind of crazy. But also prep round, I don't want to say it's my least favorite day. I guess that's like kind of harsh. Like it's more just because I like wasn't able to talk all day, and it's definitely just like probably the hardest day because you either don't know what to do, you're stressed because you can't talk to people about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I wouldn't say it's like the worst day or anything. Think about it as you're literally like waking up tomorrow and it's bid day. So the choice that you make that night literally determines like the sorority for like the rest of your life probably. So yeah, it's really exciting. Okay, now the hardest part about Rush. I would say the hardest part about Rush is just being on all day. Like it's literally like you wake up so early and you get back late, and then you can finally call your mom, call your sister, and it's just hard like not being able to like talk to them all day and then having to be on all day and just being exhausted from the heat. I would say that's just probably the hardest part. What are sororities actually looking for? I can't speak for every sorority, but like I know Triadout's looking for friendly, positive, like personable, like nice girls. Like obviously no one wants you to be perfect. Like we literally just like want to see if like we can be friends with you. Okay, now rec letters and letters of support. This is late in the game for girls that are like going through this fall, but for girls that are going through like in years to come, think of a good baseline as 1 rec letter and 2 letters of support. You can always do more, but that's just like a good, like as long as you have 1 rec letter and 2 letters of support, then you should be solid. Okay, now just like my biggest advice to close off this video is be open-minded. You don't want to go in with like, oh my god, I only want this house because that's the girl I follow on Instagram and I have to get this house. Definitely don't go in it with that, because I remember being like very surprised after I went through Rush and be like, oh my gosh, I actually really like this house and I really like this house and I thought I was gonna hate this house. So like just be open-minded. That's so important. And you're gonna hear all week long, trust the process. And as cheesy as it is and as annoying as it is, because you're literally gonna hear it over and over, it's so true. Like everything works out exactly the way it's supposed to be. And then another big piece of advice is just write in a journal if you need help with to make a pros and cons list. Like write in a journal so you can remember like the conversations that you had at each house, because at the end of the day you go back to your Gamma Chi and you cut houses, and so if you write down after each party like the conversations that you had, you could just like easily jog your memory of like how the conversation went, and when it's time to cut houses it's easier to remember which ones you liked and what you didn't like. Oh, and then I'll leave it on this. My last piece of advice is just remember that this is not an interview. It's just conversations. These are normal girls that you're talking to. And on our end, we're trying to impress you guys too. So like, don't think it's just you trying to impress us. We're trying to impress you guys. Think of it as a conversation. I honestly really enjoyed Rush because you're literally just meeting so many people. Like I'm still friends with girls that I didn't even join that sorority, but we just like bonded during Rush Week. Literally think of it as conversations. You're meeting new friends, you're meeting all these new people. Yeah, good luck everyone. You're gonna go to the first party and come out being like, why was I so nervous? Like that was totally fine. And then the rest of the week will just hopefully be a breeze. I will leave it on, don't take offense when you do get cut, because even if you completely bond with a girl and like could see her being your sister and the conversation just went so great, like it's not always completely up to her if you get to stay or not. Whenever we get done talking to the P&Ms, we vote on our phones and we get to say like 1 sentence about the girl. There's so many different factors onto like why you could have been cut, so just don't take it personal. If you really bond with a girl, then it's usually not the girl that you talk to that's cutting you. It's usually like someone higher up, and it could have been like a number they have to stay under, or it could have been like they think you're gonna go to a different house. I don't know. There's so many different factors onto why you could have been cut. So just try not to take it personally, which I know it's way easier said than done. If you guys have any other questions, leave them down below and maybe I'll make a part 2. I feel like I covered everything, but if you want me to go more in depth about anything, just let me know. Good luck everyone. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys next time. Good luck.